Hey guys, it's Dave at No Recipe Required, and today I got a video for you where we're going to follow a recipe. I'm actually doing a review of a chefed meal kit. Chefed meal kits, they come, it's a subscription service, come in a box with lovely meals like this one. This is actually a low carb meal. It's a take on a mac and cheese with cauliflower and chicken cauliflower mac and cheese, we'll call it. We've got our recipe card here. That's the here. I'll show you that there. Very lovely picture, isn't it? We're gonna go ahead and see how easy, see how hard it is to make, see how long it takes, and of course, see if it tastes any good at the end. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna unpack my ingredients. It kind of comes protein separate. My chicken here. Everything else is packed in one box. We're gonna unpack. We're gonna come in. We'll do a little bit of prep, and then we will get cooking. Alright guys, so these are our unpacked ingredients. So we've got some red pepper, roasted red pepper here for our chefed cauliflower mac and cheese. We've got some cheese, some more cheese, cream cheese, Tabasco, mustard. The two things we're going to do first, put the oven on 375 and put a pot of water with some salt in it on the stove to boil. And then the directions tell us to do a little bit of prep work. Always a little prep. I got a garlic clove here. I like to put the knife on it, just give it a little push, makes it flat, makes it easier to chop, and then just give that a nice fine chop. And then after we get the garlic done, the directions say to chop up our cauliflower. I got, nice to keep these little bowls around. Chop our cauliflower into bite-sized pieces. I think that is already a bite-sized piece. That one, you know, maybe. I don't mind bigger chunks, but if you like them small, keep them small. If you want them bigger, go ahead and put them a little bigger. I'm just going to go ahead, certainly that one, you don't want to put that whole thing in your mouth. So we're going to dice this up, and then once the water boils, we're going to add the cauliflower to the salted water until it just barely becomes tender. Alright, so here's our boiling water. I know, it's exciting to watch boiling water, riveting TV. So we've got our cauliflower here. I'm going to go ahead and add it to our salted boiling water. See that added benefit of being salted. This is going to go for about 5 minutes or so. Alexa, stop the timer. Okay, so my water got up to a boil, and I just added our cauliflower, chopped cauliflower. Literally just added it. It's going to reduce the water temperature. We're going to bring it back up to a boil. Keep it there for about 5 minutes. I got the knife because we're going to use the knife to eventually test whether we're done or not, whether it's just tender or not. Knife should go in pretty easily. Now it doesn't go in at all, and come out pretty easily. And that's how we tell when to take it off. But it's going to take about 5 minutes. Okay, so my broccoli has been going now. I'm going to go ahead and give it our knife test, if I can get a good one there. And this is exactly where I want it. You don't want it too much. If you let it go too long, it's going to kind of fall apart on you. So I'm going to kill the heat on this. We're going to use our colander, drain it off, and then we're going to come right back into the same saucepan. So we just drained out our cauliflower. I've got our cream here. Our next step is going to be making the cream sauce. And I mean, you could get a new pan, but why? I just took this one, dropped it right, or drained out the cauliflower, brought it right back. We're going to add this whole pint of heavy whipping cream and bring it to a simmer, and then we're going to add some of our other ingredients. Okay, so we've got our cream. Now it is simmered. It has started to simmer, and we're going to add in our 2 cheeses here. We got 1 package of cream cheese, good old Philly cream cheese, and then a package of cheddar cheese, shredded cheddar cheese that they say add half of to the pot. And with the cream simmering, just grab a whisk. If you don't have a whisk, use a spoon, use whatever you want. Don't use your hand. We're going to mix this together until the cheese is melted and incorporated in, and it's all nice and smooth. Okay, we've got our cheese melted in there. We're going to hit it with this is dry mustard packaged in here. We're going to add our chopped up garlic. Get that mixed in, and the sauce is already nicely thickened. And then we've got some Tabasco, which will give it a little color and a little tanginess as well. And we're just going to let that, again, incorporate for just a minute or two. You can see how much that sauce is now thickened up with the cheese in there. It also says, quite wisely, add a little bit of salt. I think it says a 1/4 teaspoon. I go by feel. A little bit of pepper, fresh ground. I'm going to let this go, and then we're going to come back and add our cauliflower. Alright, so everything now is incorporated together for our cheese sauce. It's all nicely melted. I'm actually going to give it a little bit of an early taste. It's got a nice little tanginess to it. I'm going to kill the heat per the instructions. This is our cauliflower. I really tasted that for seasoning quantity, whether it needed any more salt or pepper. I'm going to take the whisk off. I don't want to break up the cooked cauliflower any more than it already is. I want to keep those chunks in. And then we're just going to toss everything to coat. Now, one of the things the instructions said right in the beginning was to grab a baking dish and spray it down with a little cooking spray to make it non-stick. I've actually only got some dirty baking dishes. So what I'm going to use is an oven-proof frying pan. This has got a metal handle. It's also non-stick. There's a little bit of water in there. I'm still going to spray it down with a little bit of cooking spray. Make sure things don't stick. And then we're going to add our cauliflower to the pan. Ideally your pan, you want it to hit the sides of the pan and have a little bit of depth to it, as opposed to, if I used a giant sheet pan, it would just kind of spread out, and I don't think you'd get the kind of the baked effect. You want it an inch or so deep. Spread our cauliflower out in a nice even layer, and then recipe came with some of these roasted red peppers, which actually make a nice color on here. Now, I'm not dumping it out because roasted red peppers, for the most part, and these ones are included, come in a fair amount of liquid, and I don't want just all that juice on there. The recipe actually it's not super clear whether it's supposed to be or not, but I'm thinking not. So, big pieces I'm just going to break up a little bit. Let's get them all on there, and then I've got the rest of our cheddar cheese as well. Remember, we preheated our oven, so that is going at 375. We're going to get the cheese spread out, hopefully evenly. If it's not, just move it around a little bit with your hands. That's absolutely fine. And then this goes into the oven for 15 minutes. While that's going, we're going to cook up a couple chicken breasts. Alright, so we're going to do our chicken breasts as our cauliflower bakes off. Now, I'm a bit of a snob when it comes to the chicken breasts. I got to use high heat, a nice strong pan here. Actually, if you wanted to grill them, that would be fine too. But very key to me is getting a nice hot pan so you get a good sear on the chicken. That brings out a lot more flavor. So I've let my pan heat up for a little bit over good strong heat, and then I'm going to start with the bigger chicken breasts. These are the two breasts that came. I took them out of the package, seasoned them with salt and pepper, patted them dry, and you can hear that good sizzle when you lay them down. I'm going to actually let this one go for about 30 seconds sooner than this one, because this is just smaller, it's a little bit thinner. It's going to take less time to cook, but we're going to use the same method. Just lay them down, don't touch them, don't mess with them until it's time to flip. Alright, so I get my pan going hot enough. I love these little screen protectors. I get it hot enough where I need one, and I also keep the overhead fan going. I turn it off as I'm flipping around here. But that's how we get a nice golden brown crust on the chicken. High heat, not moving it around. Flip it over. I'm going to let these go for about another 3 to 4 minutes on this side. If the pan is looking dry, just go ahead, add a touch more olive oil to it. You don't need a ton. And then we're going to put our our screen back on. You don't really want to put a cover on it. And finish cooking this up until it's cooked through, like I said, about 4 minutes. Okay, so our chicken now, certainly our small chicken breast or smaller chicken breast is done. So I'm going to go ahead and take that. I washed the cutting board. Just like I added this one a few moments earlier than the bigger one, I'm going to leave it in a few moments longer than the other one. You notice I got, again, nice crusty side on both sides. We just want to make sure this guy is cooked through. And there's the timer for our cauliflower. Alright, so I got the heat now kind of all the way down. The chicken breast, I think the small guy is cooked through. If you need to, you can go ahead and use a meat thermometer, but I'm able to just tell kind of by the feel of it. This bigger one, since it's bigger, I added it in a little bit earlier. I'm going to leave it in just a little bit longer. I'm going to let it go for another minute or so. I might even turn it in and let it go on that first side again. We just want to make sure it's cooked all the way through. You're going to let the chicken breast rest for about 5 minutes, and I think in 1 minute our cauliflower is going to hit our 15 mark, so I'm going to go ahead and take that out too. Alright, so I let our cauliflower go for 15 minutes or so. It actually looks a little bit soupy to me, but you know what? It's also boiling. You can see that. It's bubbling hot, and as it cools, it's going to thicken up. So the fact that it's soupy is actually probably pretty good. Our chicken needs to rest for just a couple minutes. I'm going to let that rest. I'm going to let this rest right in the pan, and then we're going to come back and serve it up. Okay, so we've got our cauliflower mac and cheese right there with the roasted red peppers on it. I've got my chicken breast here. Now the directions say go ahead and put a chicken breast and the cauliflower next to it, but look at that picture. That actually looks pretty awesome with the chicken sliced up on the in the pan itself. And if you guys have if you've got kind of a roasting pan or something like that you want to bring right to the table, I think it'd be a fairly cool presentation to go ahead and slice our chicken up into maybe 1/2-inch slices, and then just take them and kind of fan them, settle them down into our dish here, and then bring it out like that. I'm going to try and recreate what we got going on here, or what we got going on there in the picture. This is actually probably more chicken than is needed, so we're going to have a couple extra slices here, which is just fine. But there's my attempt at recreating the picture from our chef what do we call it? Recipe card. Let's go ahead and plate this up and see how it tastes. Alright, so we got our chicken cauliflower mac and cheese made up, and as I said before, even though it came out of the oven pretty soupy, it is actually now firmed up into a nice sauce for the cauliflower and that red pepper and cheese. I'm going to go ahead and give that a little try. I'm going to try and give that a little try. Trying not to look like a beast eating on camera is a little tricky. So, cauliflower is tender, sauce is flavorful, salt content is right. I'm going to try it with a little bit of chicken. It's a good dish. You know, it was easy to make, actually. Probably took, talk with my mouth, probably took less than 35 minutes to make from start to finish, and you know, it was like 2 pots. So, relatively simple to do. It's tasty, it's healthy, it's low carb. So, thumbs up. Good job. I'm going to throw a link to Chef where you can go ahead and buy it. There's a coupon code associated with it. If you give it a try, if you don't give it a try, let me know what you think about the recipe, and don't forget to subscribe. Alright, hope you enjoyed that chicken cauliflower mac and cheese from Chef. Like I said, that was actually simple to do. It was pretty damn tasty, low carb, a lot of cream in there, probably not too low calories, but it tasted just fine. Go ahead, give it a try, and I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.